Everyone, welcome back to another stream. It has been so long. Can you believe it's been a year since we've hung out? Oh my gosh, crazy. I know, bad pun, but I had to make it. It's so nice to be back here with you all. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas break. Oh, I want to hear what you guys did. It's been a month, so it's been September. Did the audio die out for a second? Sorry about that, guys. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, good. I don't know what you guys heard and missed. You spent the holiday in Cancun, Mexico with your family? Oh, that's so fun! I actually went to Orlando for mine and got to soak in some sun rays. So it was really, really great. Gained 6 pounds. Christmas was great. Gained 6 pounds. No, me too, man. I lost 2 pounds from my my workout challenge, and I gained them both back because of Christmas. But it was worth it. Honestly, it was nice to eat. I got some hot pot while I was on vacation. It was so freaking tasty. They had like, you could have all you could eat of different types of hot pot stuff and you could get it. And I ended up getting just a whole bunch of crab and just sticking it in and just like feasting on crab. It was the best ever and I have no regrets. Got Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition for the Switch and it's easy to get lost. Is that big? Crazy. I played a lot of Echoes of Wisdom too. That's the other new Zelda game that came out. I'm kind of addicted to it. It is super cute. Actually, there's these creatures inside of it. So if you know the Zora, they did like a nod to the first game where they had the Zora that looked kind of like big blobby fish versus the really hot, sexy Zoras that you normally see in the game. And so they did like chibi version of both. And I'm in love with the normal Zora look, but I think that the other one is fun. So that's the kind of like blobby look that some of them had. And then this right here is the cute Zoras. And I love this design so much because it looks like the Chow from Sonic Adventure Battle 2, if you guys ended up playing that game. And that was like my childhood game, and so it just makes me happy to see the comparison difference. But yeah, that game is absolutely amazing. And a job interview, nice. That's awesome. Sounds like you're having a great year. But yeah, I couldn't get enough of that crab. It was so good. It was a good use of my money. That and Disney World was pretty fun. I'm not a really big fan of Disney, but I can definitely enjoy a good roller coaster ride. And the Tron ride at Disney World is so fun. You get a ride like you're in an actual motorcycle, but you're going way faster. And just like that super speed in the bike position, you feel so freaking cool. I was having so much fun on that ride. The hard part was it was like a 45-minute wait to get onto that ride, and I wasn't going to do that twice in a row. It was just really, really long. That one was more like, that was like 70. But yeah, it was not a great wait to get onto it. Otherwise, I would have just rode that one over and over again. He also looks like my headcanon for James Penguin. Do you guys know the song James Penguin? It's a Christmas song. Oh, it's a good one though. James Penguin in the song is like Santa's secret spy that's a penguin. I could totally see that, especially the bow tie. Talk about the Zora. Could totally see that. Love roller coasters, but yes, the wait is always a problem. Yeah, exactly. Did you do the Star Tours? I did. That ride was so much fun too. You get like, it's very immersive. They take you through and you get abducted by the Order, and the people who play those troops do such a good job of portraying their characters. We were waiting to get in line, and me and my brother were leaning up against the wall, and this guy came up and was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Stand in line. Don't lean against the wall, you cosmic embarrassment." And now that's become one of my favorite statements ever since. Anytime I'm just messing with my brothers, I'll be like, "You cosmic embarrassment." But it was a good time. We actually got super lucky with the roller coaster rides because our longest wait was for the Tron ride, and the others, we had like 10-minute wait lines just because we hit them at the right time. Sometimes it got up to like 30-ish, but it was never really, really bad except for the Tron ride. So we got lucky, especially because we ended up going only one day, so we got to hit every ride that we liked. By the way, speed running Disney World is not something I would recommend. We did it. We definitely did it. We went all out. But by the end of the day, we were so dead. Like, my feet were dying, and we didn't see everything. We got to see what we wanted to, but we didn't get to see everything. Did you ride Snow White? Unfortunately, no. I want to go back sometime. I did get to sketch some characters and show them their pictures, which was really fun. Mulan reacted amazing. I drew her and asked for her signature, and she about died, which made me very, very happy. I didn't get the Haunted Mansion either. I got to do the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. I got to do the Tron ride. I got to do the Anna and Elsa ride. We got to do the Slinky ride. And we went to like the Moana interactive area. We got some of the they have like sweet cakes or something in the German area that are super, super tasty that my aunt recommended to us. And then we did a few more rides around Epcot because we were there and waiting for the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. My brother served 2 internships there at the Haunted Mansion, and they're the only cast members not allowed to smile along with the rest of the Resistance. Really? Interesting. That's kind of cool. Yeah, the Haunted Mansion I heard can be wild. I had a friend that worked at Disneyland, and they were telling me that they actually had a problem with people trying to spread their ashes inside the rides. This was at Disneyland, it wasn't Disney World, but they had like a code grandma because people would try and spread ashes inside the ride, and so that was like the way of stopping people from spreading them into the ride. And it happened so frequently they had to come up with a code for it, which cracked me up. But yeah, very, very fun. Before I start drawing, I have a surprise for you guys. I told you, and I'm very, very excited to show you. Let me get the Discord open. You guys have been requesting for a while some emotes. And today is the day. We have emotes now for the channel. Here they are, right here. I have all of them up here. You can use them whatever you want. I eventually want to get them added into the stream as well for Twitch. However, we have to reach 50 followers before we can do that. But as soon as we hit that 50 follower mark, it will happen. But the emojis are finally here. And I did make the cursed ones as well. So these are included. Dirtman, and of course, I named this one Disappointment because I'm very disappointed with the Arcanine that I drew. But he is here now, and you guys can use them to your heart's desire inside the Discord. But yeah. Super, super fun. I had a blast making them. I did half of them of me and the other half of my little mascot vampire zombie bat because he's a cutie pie. So there's a good mix of each depending on what you guys want to use more. And yeah, so what we're drawing today is a picture of some of my OCs, specifically the one up here and the one down here. This is my D&D character that I'm playing right now, the one that is alive on the ground. He is a noble with the retainer background, so that's him. And then this is Monty, who is kind of his undead manservant. When they were younger, Monty... So Xemnas basically can see ghosts. He's been able to see them since he was young, and it's a talent that he's always had. Everyone in his family has been born with the ability of an ability of some sort from each of the different orders of the D&D magic orders. So like there's enchantment magic, there's transmutation, necromancy, evocation. He was born with necromancy, and because of that, as a kid, he was able to see ghosts. And so everybody kind of thought he was a little strange. Oh my gosh, people posting emotes in the Discord making me very happy. But everybody thought it was strange, and so he didn't have a lot of friends, mainly because he would just start talking to thin air at some points. And Monty was one of those main reasons why he was seen as strange, because he would talk to Xemnas repetitively all the time. And over time, they kind of just became best friends. So at the beginning of that campaign, after Xemnas finishes school and he's been studying magic for a while, he gets a favor from one of the headmasters that helps him turn his best friend into a skeleton. And so now his skeleton's kind of his manservant and follows him around. But this is before he leaves, and it's just a little scene of him reading in the garden and Monty popping up and being a disaster. So that is kind of the idea of this picture. Get my colors out. Right now it looks very, very messy, but that's kind of the part of the process of painting. Always turns into a mess and you kind of have to like find the picture underneath. It's kind of like sculpting in a way, painting is, but instead you're just doing it 2D. Okay, wait, guys. Look how cute all these emoji posts are! Ah! Oh, they make me so happy. Okay, we're going back. How long have you been in your campaign playing with him? We've had 2 sessions so far, so not too many. We started about Christmas time, which tends to be a problem because everybody gets really busy around Christmas, but we all wanted to start. So we got started anyways. I've had a blast playing him. He's really funny. I like to act out his mannerisms too. He kind of fidgets often and like gets startled easily. He is not very good with scary things whatsoever, which is funny because he's a necromancer. But he's just, I mean, to be fair, people would never think that a necromancer would be jumpy because they're dealing with undead all the time. But I also feel like a necromancer will have seen things that no one has seen before, and I definitely think that would make them more jumpy, especially since he has seen them since he was a kid. And so it's kind of a fun parallel where he's just kind of, oh, okay, that's kind of terrifying. He's very wary of things. It's funny because you really can't tell the difference between the living and the dead. They don't... I've drawn them more ghostly in this picture, but sometimes he really just can't tell if the person is alive or dead. And it becomes an issue because he nowadays, since he's a little bit older, he'll actually wait for people to... or somebody else to talk to somebody before he actually talks to them, so he doesn't end up getting duped talking to nothing. But the campaign's been really fun. We have a barbarian, a warrior, a fighter, ranger who acts like a bard, and a pixie druid so far, and also a warlock noble who is one of my favorite characters. He's so funny. He's a very prissy, I'm better than you type noble. And he cracks me up with his mannerisms all the time. But he thinks he's the leader of the group all the time. Unfortunately, he's going to be leaving the campaign already. He was only in until he had to go back to school, but his character was great. He had a very noble way of walking, and he'd be like, "Well, guys, I am certain this adventure is going to go well, because with my nobility and his nobility and her nobility, I think it's enough to counteract everyone else in here, and I think we can succeed in this mission." It just cracked me up so much how much he... But at the same time, he did a good balance, because it wasn't to the point where everybody else in the group was like, okay, let's get rid of this punk. He was he was playful with the role, but also didn't discredit people too much. It was like a really good balance. So, very funny, very fun. Apparently in the campaign, there's 2 different types of necromancy. And our characters have been discovering like a purer form of necromancy that is more the life-based necromancy. I'm not exactly sure everything that it entails yet, but necromancy, apparently learning it, the runes and the ways that it should be used have been changed over time to be more of the like undead type stuff, but there's like a different type of necromancy that's stronger that our characters are like uncovering things about it and ways to live immortal and stuff like that through this necromancy. They're looking for a book based on it right now for their mission. My character's doing it because his commander ordered him, who's working under the king. And so, because he wants to make his family proud, he's out on this mission. But he is very unsure of himself, and he's figuring things out as he goes. He's baby, he's only 17 years old, so he's getting it figured out as he goes along. I've been having a lot of fun playing his retainers, though, as well. Monty's just got, like, a ton of personality. And then his other 2 retainers, one of them is a kind of prissy human that wants to make sure that Xemnas is being treated as the royal that he is. He doesn't come along often because he does books and he books where they're staying and such. And then the one that I really like, her name's Delilah. And she is a ghost that has a little bit more of an influence in the material realm. So she's able to interact with things. But her one dream before she died was that she would find her true love. And she died. But because she has so much strong will to find her true love, she's stuck around. And so she's been following Silas because she's hoping that one day she might be able to get a body like Monty has so that she can be with her true love when she finds him. So anyone and everyone in the campaign could be her true love. And she is a very energetic, fun character to play and scares the crap out of people, which is fun. I just think she's fun to flirt around with and have a good time interacting with everyone with her. Playing a Necromancer is interesting because I feel like I'm playing multiple characters in one. We haven't even gotten to the animate dead part of it yet. I think that needs to be a little bit richer in color. There we go. Yeah, other than Disneyland and Orlando, we kind of just chilled the whole time. We did have one other thing we had planned out that we were super excited about. Apparently in Orlando, they have bioluminescent water where there's these, I think it's like an algae or something like that that glows in the dark. Usually only seen during the summer, but we wanted to give it a shot and go and see some, so we went to the location where it was at. But before we started to go, we got in the car. My dad was driving, and he said, "Okay, everyone, are we sure we want to do this? We might not see it, and it's a hour drive out there. Are we sure we want to do this?" And we all decided yes, we wanted to give it a shot, because if we got to see something, that would be epic. So we got in the car, we drove out there, found out we were in the wrong location, drove to another place that they said was a really good place to see it. But when we got to that location, we found out that was like the swamps in the middle of nowhere, and you couldn't get a good view. Like it was the best location to see it, but you kind of needed a tour guide to lead you through if you didn't want to get eaten by an alligator. So we decided to go and try and find a more touristy area to go see it. We drove out there, got to the water, and there was nothing. We'd been driving for about 2 hours at that point. And we look out at the water. My dad's standing there with us, and he's like, "Wow, I'm just so grateful that I spent all of this time driving out into the middle of nowhere to see this." We just burst out laughing. It ended up being a really fun just road trip, but it ended up being a 3-hour trip instead of the 2 that we thought it would be, and all in all taking about 3.5 hours for the little bit of time we spent out of the car there. We saw nothing, but we had a blast anyways. Some other time. We have to come back during the summer and actually see if there's anything there. What was everybody's favorite Christmas gifts they got this year? I got to design my own water bottle, which was kind of fun. My mom asked me to come up with a design for my water bottle, and I got it engraved. So I ended up doing this design. I did Silence, which is Silas's blade. So I really like the sword idea. And then of course I had to have bats, because my channel's all about bats. So they needed to be in there somewhere. Other than that, mostly just spent money with my family on that vacation. We kind of spent money on each other on it. And then one of my friends ended up getting me a D&D set, or D&D dice set, which was Legend of Zelda themed, so of course I loved it. Decided probably purple and gold for these, or silver. No, I'm gonna do purple and gold for his house colors. Very royal colors, and it matches with his cape already, so that works. When I originally designed this character, I made him for a kind of slice of life type story. It was him all grown up after he'd gone to war, and he ended up adopting a little girl who came and stayed with him at his castle, and kind of was like the mending from war and everything, and she got to hang out with the ghost staff and everything. Might still make the story someday, but we'll see. I've been having fun though, designing what he was like in his past. got a big bag of popcorn. Heck yeah, that's a fun gift. Popcorn's delicious. I always have to have it with M&Ms. M&Ms with popcorn is the best creation ever. I'm telling you guys, you have to try it. This is the order. I'm not asking, I'm telling. It is my favorite treat whenever I'm watching a movie. The chocolate with the salty sweet combo is so tasty. I specifically have M&Ms just for M&M popcorn because it is so good. I don't let anyone eat my M&Ms, and I will not eat them unless they're with this popcorn. So it's just so good that it just needs to be done. I actually stole it from a movie. Have you guys ever watched First Daughter? There's a scene in it where they sneak inside a movie theater. They're watching a movie and they pull out chocolate and they put it inside the popcorn. I saw that and I fell in love. I was like, this is the best idea ever. I have to try it. And it was super, super good. Good old Pokemon songs. Make me happy. Thing I figured out about Florida while I was there is it's not as as Australia as I was fearing, which I think Australia probably isn't as Australia as I'm fearing in the city either. But the things that I've seen from Australia scare me to death. And the fact that my mom stayed there for vacation once, house sitting, and ended up finding a snake inside the pool area, which is an indoor pool. That scared me too. I mean, it was a garden snake. I think snakes are kind of cute from a distance. I think snakes are adorable, but I don't want to have to deal with one inside a house. But when I got there, it was actually really, really nice. The weather was fabulous. Everything about it was really fun. So, not as scary as I thought it would be. I need some more Animal Crossing songs on here. I'm gonna find some stream-free Animal Crossing vibe songs. It's just got such good vibes. I have an interesting relationship with Animal Crossing. As a kid, I loved the game so much. And then I've just kind of always loved it since, but it's gotten to the point where I will start an Animal Crossing game and then there's just so much to do that I can't get it all done. And then I get the urge to restart and do something else. Luckily, I haven't made that mistake in my current world, but in past versions of Animal Crossing, I will just restart over and over and over again and get nowhere. This one I will do like a few things every time I log in, which is once every 3 months. I've been making a Legend of Zelda world since the game came out. Mostly it's based off of Majora's Mask, but I have gotten some Twilight Princess in there. The castle is very Twilight Princess themed. I've created like a secret entrance to the prison, which has a wolf in it, which I thought was hilarious. It makes me very happy. There's a castle town with Milo Mart posters. I made the Lost Woods. And the spot where Skull Kid likes to dance on his little tree stump. Fortunately, I can't put a Skull Kid on the tree stump, but we get close. Make this guard look a little bit more gelled together. He's looking as ghostly as the others. That's not acceptable. He needs to silently be judging Zemnis. Not being a ghost too. Cute moments are happening in the roleplay right now, too. Maria and Silas finally got to talk, and I was sobbing and laughing at the same time and crying. All in one. It was a very cute moment. The funniest part about it was, so last you guys heard, Nymeria had found out about Silas's past and the fact that he was with the Lunar Keepers. And so Silas had pretty much gone, okay, that's it. She's never gonna want me around her again. And Nymeria had offered to let him leave, and he was like, well, okay, if that's what you want. She was like, no, that's not what I want. I want to talk things over. Let's talk later. And so they ended up going to a ball together that had to be that night for the suitors. And then they got back off of that and are in the med wards right now because they'd gone straight to the ball and not taking care of injuries. So now they're in the med ward. And Silas was feeling very, very awkward around her now. It's like I don't know how to interact with her. And she was like, well, I actually don't hate you. And he's like, what? How could you trust me? He's like, I would not trust me. She's like, no, I trust you completely. He's like, you trust me completely? Are you thinking straight? And she kind of went in to say, like, your actions so far are, like, you haven't done a single thing to make me distrust you. In fact, it just doesn't make sense for you to be working against me or anything with everything you've done so far. And he's like, yeah, but I'm not exactly, like, the best type of person. And she went in to basically say, do you know who I'm surrounded by? Have you looked around? Lots of the people in this castle are murderers. Isn't that crazy? Oh, it had me laughing like crazy because I wasn't even thinking about that point. From Silas's perspective, and that's who I was role-playing as. He's like, yeah, no, I'm kind of the worst, and she... But from her perspective, everybody's actually kind of the worst. I don't know if that's exactly great for her to be thinking. It's kind of toxic, but it had me cackling. So that was my favorite thing about it. Like, actually, she has thought this through, and she's thought about what he's done so far. Gone, actually, he's somebody that I do want guarding my back. We should all get high on PCs and play an MOM like Lord of the Rings Online or Star Wars The Old Republic. I've been wanting to play games with you guys. I think that would be so fun. I really want to get a video game streaming kind of platform set up in my OBS too, so that we can play some games together sometime. I think that would be way fun. I don't know what we would play, but it would be fun to do like a stream game thing on a different day, not during our normal stream time. Epic Mickey, I don't have that game, but it sounds pretty fun. Hard part is Disney gets me sometimes. I have a hard time supporting Disney products. I just don't like the company very much, but I don't know. Well, I'll look into some games right now. I think I want to play something a little chill. I think it would be fun to do a Don't Starve Together type thing sometime. That'd be fun. Sorry, Dan Solo. Have you played Epic Mickey? Is it fun? I have to say, though, out of all the new games that Disney's come out with, I'm most interested in their Marvel game because it's so similar to Overwatch that I'm very tempted, especially because they have this new feature that they've introduced into it where if you play certain characters, you can do combo moves that you can't do unless those other characters are inside the game. And oh, does that sound fun? I just like the mechanism idea of that game. So that one does tempt me. I'm very tempted with that one. Just because of my love for Overwatch. In 2010 for the Wii, but they remade it with modern graphics. Really? Ooh, I bet it's pretty now. That's pretty cool. I love remakes. At the same time, I know that they're money grabs to take my money again after I've already bought the game, but anytime Legend of Zelda gets a remake and the graphics get a boost, I get so excited. The one for Twilight Princess was so gorgeous. I seriously can just stare at that game for forever. Hours, just in the main area. That's what happened when I first got the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess remake. I've been wanting to replay the Skyward Sword one. My brother got it, and we have a family account. So I've been really tempted to play the Skyward Sword one, especially because the controls are better on it because it's not the gyro Wii controls where you would have to recalibrate every few seconds and your sword would never point up when you're trying to swipe with it. So I do want to try that out at some point. Hopefully they make Breath of the Wild 4K for the next Switch. That would be crazy. It's funny, there was a post by Nintendo that said, yeah, we're never making another Legend of Zelda game like this one. That was fun, but I think we're done. Like, I don't blame them. That game is so freaking giant. And Tears of the Kingdom as well. I've never seen... I think that is the biggest game I've ever seen. I don't know. Is there a bigger one, guys? Because I've never seen a game with that much put into it before. It took me forever to just beat that game. And I took a whole week out of, like, as a vacation just to play Tears of the Kingdom. Star Wars The Old Republic is as big? Interesting. And I have to look up some videos about that game. I didn't know that they had one as big. That's insane. But didn't finish it in that week. It took me that week plus a few weekends after for a month to finish it. Could take weeks to level up your character by one level. Oh, that's rough. I had a game like that growing up. But the biggest issue with that game was that if you were, it was pretty much you would be leveling your character up or nothing would be happening. So I'm sure that's not how that game is, but that's why I ended up getting sick of that game, because as much as I loved it, I was a healer in it. It was a kind of a MMORPG. Did I say that right? Yeah. Anyways, it was an online multiplayer game that you would play and roleplay. And you would kill monsters and level up. Kind of gave Swords Art Online vibes. And I love Swords Art Online. The first season, anything else sucks. But I used to watch Swords Art Online in high school, and I absolutely loved it. And it had that immersive, you can be who you want to be, adventure type vibe. I got to be the healer, and my friends played rangers and warriors, and we had like a war mage too who did the fighting while I did the healing. And we got really OP to where we could kill people pretty easy. But then when we started getting really high leveled, the levels to advance took months to actually level at all because we were already such high levels. And there was nothing else to do but level up. So you didn't get the joy of leveling, and there was nothing else to do. And so we just all one by one died off and stopped playing the game. That is actually the game where I came up with Citrus for my username. That was my gamer name inside of it. There has to be a good game that astronauts can play to keep them preoccupied on their route to Mars. That's fair. I mean, I think Tears of the Kingdom might be able to do it for a while. I mean, not forever, but I don't know if there. I don't think there is a game. Guess you'll just have to do cards forever. Sounds like a crazy trip, man. Space scares me. As a kid, people are like, wouldn't it be fun to travel to space? Like, no, have you heard and watched the videos about space? I prefer my feet on the ground, thank you very much. I'm okay with airplanes. I do love airplanes. Even though sitting on them forever sucks. I have to have window seats because it's just so cool to look out and see the ground beneath you. I always go for a window seat because I like to look out the window. But space in general, that's a whole different story. The idea of your suit breaking or something happening to your ship and there's nothing you can do and you just dying in space, that freaks me out. The food on the space station kind of sucks. I mean, can you blame them? They have to get food out there. That's hard enough as is. Working on chainmail right now. Chainmail's fun. It's just a bunch of links together. Links. We almost visited NASA Museum, cool in Orlando, but we didn't end up. We had a hard time picking between different activities to do, and that one ended up being one that got cut. We hung out at a water park instead. Kennedy Space Center is pretty cool, though I think Houston's better though. Ooh, what's in Kennedy Space Center? That sounds kind of interesting. I've actually never been to a space center. I've been to a show about stars that was inside a it was okay. I guess I have been to one. I think that star show technically counted as a space center in Hawaii, but we didn't really do too much exploring of it. We saw the video, walked around a little bit, but it was just kind of like a smaller space center, not like a big one. Oh, the Kennedys. The Houston one. Is it okay? I didn't know it was called the Houston one inside Florida. My bad. They launched from there. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. What? So at the Kennedy Space Center, so the Kennedy one is where they launch, or is it the Houston one where they launch? Okay. Kennedy in Florida, Houston in Texas, which makes a lot more sense. I was super confused when I read that originally, how Houston could be in Florida. But that was just my brain playing tricks on me. But okay, that makes sense. And Houston is the command center. Okay. Houston, we have a problem. Okay. Cool. Yeah, someday I should check one out. Sounds pretty cool, but it didn't end up happening this time. Which you can tell by my lack of knowledge of space centers. I need to add that to my bucket list so that I can actually tell you a little bit more about them. Do they still launch it in Houston then? Because you say was/is. Houston has a great museum and very interactive, which is fun. Kennedy is very operational, so you can see giant rockets in the hangars. Ooh, that is pretty epic. I went to a airplane museum in Ohio once, and you gotta see, you gotta do planes of smaller, tours of smaller planes, and they had planes throughout history from the first planes ever invented all the way up to they actually had Air Force ones inside the museum as well. That was freaking awesome. So I could definitely see how great it would be to be able to see the rockets themselves too. Just because the planes were super epic. I loved seeing the war ones the best though, because each of the different pilots that had owned the planes did different paint jobs on top of them to make them their own. There were tigers and there were snakes, so they had different mixtures of animals too, and just logoed planes. And it made me very happy to see the artistic streaks that people had created to make their planes their own. Force Base has a great museum if you liked the military aircraft. Ooh, okay. Sick, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, it was very, very fun to see all the military aircrafts. Is the Hill Air Force Base, is that the one in Utah? Or am I tripping? Yeah, that's the one in Ogden, Utah. I have been to that one before. It was a while ago, so I definitely need to take another visit, but I definitely enjoyed the one in Ogden, Utah. Yeah, the last time I went, I was pretty young. So I probably just need to make another trip. We went there and we went to like a dinosaur museum around there as well. That was the best. I loved the dinosaur museum there as a kid. This museum had these giant dinosaurs and they were all jungle gym dinosaurs that you could interact and play with. It was so cool. I felt like I was in the past. I mean, dinosaurs are basically dragons, but they existed once, which is pretty freaking cool. I mean, you can't tell me that a pterodactyl isn't a wyvern. They're pretty much the same thing. Wyverns have got like a little bit of a cooler vibe because they were created, but they're so close. And they actually existed, guys. Awesome. I think a T-Rex would be pretty terrifying, though, if it actually existed. Now. They did, but nowadays. Did you know dinosaurs had really big ears? Is that a rock fact? That's a quote from Over the Garden Wall. Freaking love that show. Got it. Best Halloween show ever, guys. And it's technically not a show. Well, I guess it's a show. It's a series. But it's only 2 hours long, so you have no excuse not to watch it if you haven't seen it. Work on this guy's face. I didn't even finish the chainmail. Guys, I get distracted way too easy while working on art. There are so many fun, juicy spots to draw. Can't stay focused on one. Finish this chainmail. Don't worry, this isn't the end of the chainmail either. We're just beginning. The thing about art people don't realize how much time it takes. I was watching a video one of my favorite artists made the other day, and he did one of those reveals, if you've seen those before, where they take a sketch and then they just start erasing it and the finished product is underneath and it's kind of like a satisfying picture. So he started out by doing that erase technique, and then after he wrote psych and then showed the actual process and the hour count up, it made me laugh. light reflecting in here. Work on the space like I was saying. Make it look a little more juicy. So, interesting thing you can kind of pick up when drawing faces. You can use blues. So like different parts of the face have different color associations, I guess. Things that are usually closer to the surface will have cooler tones. So like on a guy, you'll find cool tones here and then in the beard type area. And then you'll have like purplish red tones right here. And then yellow kind of, well, I guess you have a little bit more blue. Like you have blue right here. And you can find these kind of tones throughout a face with the underlying original color. So depending on the skin tone, whether darker or lighter, you'll start out with that skin tone and then add those reds and the blues. With females, you don't actually have the blue down here as well though. You just kind of have, you might have a little bit of red kind of in the chin area, but most of it'll just be your neutral color. The reason why guys' faces end up having that blue a little bit down there is because the skin doesn't get to see the light as much as a woman's face does, because guys have beards that grow on their face. Even guys who shave their beards, it just sometimes doesn't have as much color here, so you'll get more of like a blue hue to it. Kind of interesting. Yeah, now we gotta dial back the sun. Added it in, but we gotta bring it back a little bit. No, that's the right brush. I'm gonna keep this one. What color of eyes should he have? Go blue or green? What do you guys think? Do green with the trees, or we could do blue. We're not doing purple, so no one suggests purple. Could be, you could do a brown. We could do brown too. Has to be a color you can find in this picture, and it will not be purple. What do you guys think? Green's a good color. That's natural. They're not pounding into anyone's soul. Totally normal eyes here. Also built the pyramids? Who built the pyramids? I missed something. dinosaurs. Ah. Yes. That is also a very good fact. Not a rock fact at all. That one's totally true. I bet that dinosaurs would have had an easier time doing pyramids than people, though. They're taller, so it probably was easier for them to build them than we ever would have had it building them. It's nice to have gummy worms again. I haven't had them since I stopped streaming last. I've had a lot of chocolate though. Definitely ate a lot of chocolate for Christmas, but no gummy worms. Brother brought back this amazing Swiss chocolate. Been my favorite thing. He came back from Switzerland, where his wife is, and oh, it was so tasty. He also has been making sourdough bread again. He's so good at it; it tastes amazing. But my Christmas was spent mostly trying to stop myself from binging all the chocolate I could. To get the planes of the face. Kind of interesting how that builds out from the eyes. You have the socket. And you gotta build the structure outside of the socket. I gained most weight from fudge and eggnog. Oh, those are both good too. Fudge is so tasty. I don't eat a ton of fudge year round, but once Christmas comes around, fudge is my favorite thing ever. And eggnog too. Both of those are really, really good. My family likes to take eggnog and mix it with milk, so it's a little bit lighter. But I like the really thick, straight down the throat, thick in your mouth eggnog. That's my favorite type. Woo! Drop my sketchbook, we're fine. Everything's chill. I had to get a drink. That's why it dropped. Brother also brought back his VR headset. And I have been obsessed again with Beat Saber all over again. Mine broke, but me and my brother are rooming, so I've been able to use his headset, and Beat Saber is so fun, guys. It is so much fun to dance to. And also, he has this painting app inside the VR headset that kind of lets you paint in 3D. I think it would be really fun to do a stream challenge with it sometime. You gotta like stand in the 3D space. I made a dragon, which was kind of fun. Any favorite songs to do on Beat Saber? I love Escape With Me. I think it's called Escape With Me. Might just be Escape. That one is the best. I also like Fitbeat, which kind of lets you do a workout while you're doing it, which it's insane. I definitely die every time I do it. But Fitbeat, you have to go up and down a whole bunch because the blocks will come up high at you and then low. So you're doing squats basically through the whole entire song, plus trying to hit your blocks. It is a wild experience. But you gotta like swing lightsabers while you're doing squats, so that's fun. They also have a Halloween song that they came out with that I've been getting to know. Back when I had my own VR headset, my favorite games are actually ones that were jailbroken and put onto it, because at the time they didn't have a lot of songs, and so we went onto the internet and found ones that other people have created. So my favorite at the time was Mr. Blue Sky. That one was super, super epic, but I can't play that one anymore because I don't have a jailbroken VR headset anymore. Best game though. Mr. Blue Sky is just a good vibe in general, but the blocks were fun to hit. Good all around vibes. Now, do you guys have a favorite Beat Saber level? Do you play? I was so excited because I was at a friend's house one time and they were doing Beat Saber, but it was connected up to PS4 instead. Apparently the PS4 has a way that you can play VR games. And I was super excited to show everyone that I could do these. I'm like, I've been practicing, I'm ready. And I got there and all of the timings to the system were very different from the timings that I had for mine. So I had to kind of like readjust. And you only got one shot at a song. I got like almost to the end and I died because the timings were off, and it broke me. I was like, no, this was my moment to be cool. Yeah, so very sad I didn't look as cool as I'd hoped to look. Sounds familiar. Yeah, that was actually it while I was hanging out with Eldrick, so it was his headset. But yeah, was super excited. It didn't end up as cool as I thought. Happy New Year! Happy New Year to you too! Thanks for joining the stream! How's your New Year been anyways? What have you been up to? Need to play some Overwatch together again sometime soon. Work. That's fair. Your job's very demanding. How's preparing? You said that you've been wanting to stream a D&D game. How's that been? Too addicted to Marvel Rivals to play Overwatch? See? That's what I'm saying, guys. I was talking about that earlier. It just sounds so cool. Sounds like Overwatch, but with cool mechanisms. So I'm very tempted to get it. So I don't blame you either. Almost there. Should be going live this month, hopefully. Sweet. Keep me updated. I definitely want to hear about it. Favorite Overwatch character? Ooh. Well, Lucio is pretty easy for me. I'm obsessed with Lucio. He's got the ability to slide across the wall, and he plays music as he goes, and he has these really, really upbeat lines. So all of that combined together just makes me a Lucio lover. Especially because every time you die or anytime like you get someone, he just has like this upbeat line that makes you feel better about yourself. And so I'm like, I need this. There's too much toxicity in games in general that I need a character that boosts me up as I go. Plus I get to heal everyone, which makes me happy because I like to make people feel better. It's fantastic. I think you all would love it. Yeah, I'm very tempted. I'm leaning towards getting that game just because of the Overwatch similarities. But second favorite character is Moira. I have at least 200 hours in Lucio alone. So I pretty much almost exclusively play Lucio. But I've got Moira's been working her way up. We're up to 50 now. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but compared to my other characters, I think I've got like 15 in Mercy and maybe like 20 in Brigitte. So overall, she's doing better than the other characters. The only character that I'm good at that is not in the heals category is Reaper. And I like him because he's edgy. He's dark. He's got cool vibes. And so, oh my gosh, how did my moving thing fall? Thank you for following me, Negamix Master. That's so sweet of you. I don't know how the following thing got moved to the middle of the screen, but I will fix that later. Oh, actually I figured it out. Got moved on OBS. But thank you for the follow. That's so sweet of you. We just wanted to show you extra love. I don't know if you guys know, but Overwatch actually just barely had a Avatar: The Last Airbender crossover skins, and they were so freaking cool. I missed out on the one that you can earn by one day. They had a Katara one you could earn for May, and I wanted it so bad, but I missed it because I messed up on which day it was finished on the challenge. But I did get the Suki skin for Kiriko, and she's adorable as Suki, and I love it. You know what's upsetting about the skins? What's upsetting about the skins? Where's Sokka? That is totally fair. A Sokka skin would have been so great. I really wanted someone to be shooting a boomerang. I think that would have been awesome. When they first announced they were coming out with it, my friends and I kept theorizing what the different skins would be like. They actually guessed a few, which was awesome, but yeah. They forgot Sokka. I know! How could you not have Sokka? Yeah, Sokka would have been nice to have. I also don't know how I feel about the Zuko one, because they did like the robotic eye, and the face feels weird on the Zuko skin. They made him Genji, which everybody predicted. Whenever they try to make a hot character, it's always gonna be Genji that they put it on. But yeah, it's a real rip that Sokka was not included when all of the rest of the gang was there. Don't know who they'd really put him on though. Ooh, that makes me wanna... I'm gonna look up the characters and see who I would choose. That is a hard one on who they'd put. Maybe they just spent the whole time trying to figure out who they'd put him on and eventually went, we're not gonna do it. Yeah, it'd be really hard. Let's see. I mean, because they already use Zuko, and Zuko's a very big fan favorite, so I guess no. Let's see. I really hoped that they would have done the Tracer for Aang. I loved that they actually did Zenyatta because he's perfect for Aang, but it would have cracked me up because of the Ember Island play. I thought it would be so funny if Tracer ended up being Aang. Roadhog wearing a Sokka mask. That kind of sounds terrifying to me. Oh. Just a mask of Sokka as Roadhog. Yeah, that sounds kind of terrifying. Yeah, I don't know who really fits the Sokka vibe. I mean, maybe... The problem is so... I'm thinking the vibe-wise, you might be able to get Junkrat, but he doesn't have the build. So maybe a Hanzo would have been better. I mean, you could have done Hanzo and had him shoot bow, like you have him end up shooting the boomerangs, which would be kind of cool. But... Roadhog for Face Stealer Spirit? Okay, actually, that would be cool. I do like that idea. Oh, that Face Stealer was the freakiest thing ever. I remember watching that as a kid being like, this is terrifying, actually. Give Reaper boomerangs. I think you could use Reaper too. I feel like you could use Hanzo or Reaper for it. Because they have the builds. And if you say that the characters don't hit the vibes, then they do have other characters they put on different people who didn't fit the vibes either, so I think it's okay. Especially when they did that My Hero Academia one. That was an interesting. I thought it was fun though. I did enjoy their My Hero Academia crossover as well. I really have been enjoying their crossovers. It cracks me up. Just imagine though, Reaper shooting boomerangs and just like pulling out more each time and just throwing boomerangs. But the problem is they'd never come back. Boomerang would never come back. That line. I think it's funny, they ended up giving Genji a line that Zuko says, where he says, "That's rough, buddy." And that was my favorite thing to hit while I was playing with the Genji skin. I was like, yes. Reaper making jokes like Sokka? No! Why is that so funny? Oh, I love it. Just his serious voice. Okay, actually, I need this now. I'm totally on board with Reaper Sokka. I need that. Oh, that's too funny. Feels like this eye is lopsided. I think it needs to be down just a little bit further. we'll play with it. Yeah, there we go. I'm liking the green. Green is working out. Make this nose a little more prominent. Have you ever played the game Polytopia before? I think it's just on the phone. It might be on Steam. I'm not sure. It's pretty much just chess, but a little bit more advanced. Kind of one of those, I think I've talked about it before on this channel, but basically it's a turn-based game where you play over time and play with friends. Over the Christmas break, we had a layover in Denver where we ended up staying there for 10 hours. And then we were just inside the airport for 10 hours waiting. And so we had to find a way to entertain ourselves. And I downloaded Polytopia onto my brother's phone. And I started a game and handed it to him. And at that point, every one of my siblings ended up playing Polytopia, and so our vacation, the whole entire time going through lines and such, we were just playing the game back and forth and playing war. I dominated pretty good, except for against one of my brothers. He wins every time against me in that game, and I can't figure out how to beat him. He plays Aquarius too, which is kind of not a very OP race, but somehow he just beats me. But I will get him. I've always wanted to find a way where the ice rink in Denver Airport during the winter. But I've never had that long of a layover. Do you see anywhere where that could be? I didn't know they had an ice rink. There's a place inside the Denver airport called like Rest and Relaxation, and it's free, and they have legit beds that you can go and sleep in. We ended up spending all of our time there, but I didn't know there was an ice rink. Next time I'm in the Denver airport, I'm checking that out. I'm gonna start looking, because I have this pass that is gonna be very useful for me this year with conventions I'll be going to. I want to attend at least one or two outside of state. And I've got this nice pass with Frontier Airlines that allows me to travel, but it's kind of iffy on when you travel and when. And they fly out of Denver, so I'll probably spend a little more time there. I'll have to see if I can find this ice rink. That is way cool. I didn't know they had one. But yeah, the pass basically lets me fly for $16 a flight. I pay like $300 up front and then $16 per flight, and free all year. It's just $16 every time you fly. So it's really great, but also sometimes a little jank. Sometimes it takes a minute to get where you're getting. Only during the winter. I've only heard about it. Okay. Sometime during the winter, you buy out for an ice rink. Do you know what they change? Is it an outdoor one then? Or do they like change it something else during the summer? Rumored. No idea. Okay. Gotta find this legendary ice rink. New bucket list item for me. That's pretty crazy. Sounds like an adventure. I am so down to go and figure out. My favorite thing about traveling is the adventure of it. That moment when you're like, oh, we'll just go check this out and figure out how it goes. Less worrying about making it to certain things and schedules. And if someone's interested in something, we'll figure out. See if it's actually good. If it's not, then at least we had fun looking. I.e. the wonderful glowing water that totally existed. Oh, that cracks me up. Sometime I'll get to see that glowing bioluminescent water. I've heard it's very stunning to see. From those who have actually seen glowing bioluminescent water. There we go. This guy's face is looking like a face now. That's nice. He's no longer kind of blobby dude. From the Google at Denver International Airport, the fantasy becomes reality. Tucked away on the outdoor plaza between the terminal and the Western Hotel sits a winter wonderland that is redefining layovers. Denver's free ice skating rink. It's free? I didn't even know it was free. It's just another airport amenity. It's a portal to joy amidst the hustle and bustle of travel. What? It's even free? Man, I can't believe I missed out on that. For 10-hour layover, I totally could have checked that out. Ah, that's way cool. Yeah, that's sick. Next time I go to the Denver airport in the wintertime, I am searching for that. It'll be my quest. I can't believe it's free. I'd expect it to be paid for. But crazy. Now I know where it is. If I have a layover, I'm going save. That's amazing. Only November 24th through January 7th, so it's closed today. Oh, so sad. Also, welcome to the chat. Squidoza, hey! Welcome to the chat. Thanks for joining. We're talking about a legendary ice skating rink inside the Denver airport that's free that you can go to during layovers. Freaking awesome. Ah, I can't believe it closed on the 7th. Okay. I'll put it in my calendar so I can remember. I'm sure I'll probably fly sometime between November to January next year, too. I usually end up going places during Christmas time. I wonder if you just go on with, like, if it's kind of like a you go on with your shoes type thing, or if they rent out ice skates while you're there. Kind of interesting. Just bring your own ice skates. Like, I don't think you could get those through security. Has anybody ever brought ice skates through security before at the airport? Airport security's iffy. Unless apparently in Switzerland they have a knife store inside the airport after you go through security and they take your knives away. Still bitter about that. My family has a conspiracy theory that they confiscate your knives and then resell them at that store. I mean, I know knives are a staple in Switzerland, but Why do you take away our pocket knives in general if you're just going to let us have pocket knives inside the airport after security? Oh, cracks me up. And if you got one, you'd know you wouldn't be able to leave another airport. It's like, well, guess I'm stuck in the airport till I get home, because I don't want to lose my knife. I'm liking this face. He's coming along, guys. Getting that judgmental look set up here. Face feels a little melty still. Gotta work out some kinks, but we're getting there. How was your winter break? Absolutely amazing. I had so much fun in Florida. It was not as scary as I thought it would be. The alligators did not eat me. I survived. But yes, it was super great. The weather was amazing and just fun. We had a fun time hanging out as a family again, and it was very chill. So I liked that as well. We did have a schedule, but it was kind of like we can do stuff whenever we want to do stuff, and we just hung out most of the time. I forgot you were going. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I definitely thought of you while I was there, seeing you live there. But it was definitely a fun time. Missed out on bioluminescent water, which we spent like 3 hours looking for. But it was a fun adventure anyways. Listen to Cabin Pressure. I don't know if you guys have heard that series. Benedict Cumberbatch? I don't know. I always say his name intentionally wrong. So now I'm trying to say it right. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Like, well, my family has a thing where we like to intentionally mess up his name because there's so many different ways that you can say it. Like Benedict Cumbersome. Cumberbottom, Sour Patch. Sometimes we'll just change it to that. It's got the same vibe. But anyways, that actor is inside a podcast about some people who are trying to run a small airline business. And we ended up listening to that as we were going. Nope, I think red under the eyes was a bad idea. Well, I'll keep it, but we're gonna put another color next to it. Not that much red. It looks like very scary bloodshot eyes if I keep that intense. There we go. Much better. But my favorite ongoing gag while we were in Florida, though, was guessing how much alligators were in each river or lake. Because the thing people had told us with Florida is that it's a safe assumption to just assume that in every body of water there is an alligator somewhere. And so we're in Disney World, and we're sitting by the we're walking by one of the ponds, and it's completely see-through. You can see the bottom. And my brother turns to me and asks, "How many alligators are in that pond?" And I was like, "I don't think there's any." He's like, "Well, you're already dead." Like, what? He's like, "Yep, you didn't assume so. There's gotta be one in there." And so the next time we ran into a body of water that you could not see the bottom of, and it was very big, I'm like, okay, there's at least a million alligators inside that one. Chop, exactly, I died. So, always be wary of those gators, they'll get ya. He's right. So, that was kind of funny. It's a good thing I wasn't diving in, but I could completely see it. Didn't see a single gator, but that one was a ninja for sure. There had to be one hiding in there. Unfortunately, I didn't actually get to see a gator. I kept my eyes out. I really, really wanted to see one. But no. It just looks like water. There's actually just billions of gators layered on top of each other to give the effect of water. Oh! Thank you for explaining that. Yeah, okay. As a Florida resident, thank you for explaining it. I had no idea that's how that worked. They have the ripples on their back, so it makes sense how it gives that water effect. If you actually touch that water, you could just... It's like, you know how you put something in a rat trap and it snaps like that? All at once, the water would just snap, 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 snap. Oh my gosh. That sounds terrifying actually now. Thank you for that image. Piranhas too. How do the piranhas fit in with the gators if the gators are layered? Are they underneath then? They're just waiting for that extra snap? Or do they like flop on top of the eyes of the gator? Or maybe the snouts try and hide too? Florida be crazy. Don't get in that water. I really did want to see one of those gators though. It was unfortunate. I kept my eyes open really, really wide as they could get. Like, gators, I know you're there. I want to see you. There was one point we were walking by a swamp. I'm like, should I just start walking in there? Do you think I'll see the gator? Brother's like, yep, and you will die. Like, well, death doesn't sound like a good idea. I want to talk to my followers again. I want to be on stream and talk to them again, so probably shouldn't die. You don't have piranhas here, though. Oh. I mean, similar to putting your hand in a rat cage, you put your hand in the pond with the piranhas and they can eat you clean to the bone. Yikesies. Can't gators outrun a human on land? Oh yeah, for sure, they can. They just start walking on their back legs and just... You don't know the power of a gator on land. I had a friend that was talking about how he had a business trip in Florida, and he asked his supervisor, hypothetically, how can I accidentally fight and wrestle a gator and get away with it on this trip? And apparently his supervisor actually gave him away. He's like, well, if accidentally somebody was just bringing a gator through the lobby of your hotel and you accidentally, quotation marks, ended up tripping and falling onto that gator, you could technically fight that gator and get away with it and have our company pay for any damages. He's like, great. If hypothetically I find a gator inside the hotel and hypothetically trip, I'm gonna do that. The piranhas are waiting inside the gators. Yes. One mouth opens and then the other mouth opens. Double teeth, extra effect. Oh, gators don't have teeth. They just have piranhas. Oh, not double teeth. You just... Well, I mean, if you say the crocodiles, they have them on the outside, so then you could have the double. Or you have the gators that don't have teeth. That's perfect. Were you more in Central Florida? Yes. Yeah, we were just in Orlando. We did drive out to the beach, but we didn't see much when we went out there. We drove out to try and find that bioluminescent water, that we heard was in Florida. We were there during the wrong season and we knew it, but we wanted to see it anyways. And we did not end up seeing anything, and it was dark, so we didn't really get to see too much outside at the beach. By the way, do any of you know really good beaches in Florida? We were tempted, but anything that was by us that was like really nice was super, super far away, so we didn't end up going to any like nice beaches to lounge. Thought about it one day while we were hanging with my cousins. We were like, what do you think about the beach? And they said, it's cold. I'm like, it's 60 degrees. Like, it's like 65 degrees. That's not that cold. They're like, what's wrong with you? I did make the mistake of not bringing a jacket on this trip, though. I was a little bit chilly. Most days were nice. Most days I was pretty happy with my choices. I also brought a long sleeve shirt, so I did have pants and a long sleeve shirt. And that was fine most days while I was in Florida, but I did wish I had a jacket. Specifically at night. I'm gonna add a little bit of blue here, and then I think I'm just gonna move on from his face and work on something else. I'm near the Gulf Coast and it has some good ones, but I like the East Coast ones better. Okay, cool. One's on the East Coast. Sick. What's the coolest one you've been to? Out of curiosity, so I can add it to my list next time I visit. I'll work on Zemnis for a little bit. He needs a little bit of help too. Needs a little bit of shading. I'm probably gonna work on hair for a minute. Golden hair, 'cause brown has gold highlights. It's a great song. Do you guys know that one? Nope, I created it. Unless I was following the beat of the background music, which I might have done, then I guess I'm stealing from whoever created this one. Kayashka, Yerbe Mate is the name of this song. Yeah, next time I visit Florida, I'm gonna visit a beach, I think. I've never been to a beach on the East Coast. I've been to plenty on the West Coast. My favorite by far is the Glass Beach in California. It was originally a dumping site. So they used to dump all of the trash there. And somebody decided to clean it up. And after they cleaned it up, they found that underneath all of the trash, all of the bottles that had broken had smoothed over because of the water, and they'd become glass rocks. And so the whole entire beach is just filled with these beautiful, sparkling, colored rocks. And it's like a rainbow beach. It is so cool. I was obsessed with it when I visited. Definitely felt magical. Hawaii has a black sand beach that was super cool too, but I think I liked the Glass Beach better, because the black sand was fun, but Rainbow Beach is cool. It just feels like something out of a dream. And it was very, very fun to walk on. Apparently Hawaii also has a green beach where like limestones had been broken down. Beach is hard to get to. We didn't end up having enough time when I was visiting Hawaii to go there. A different time. I did get a surf on that trip though. So freaking fun. I got sick, but I had fun. It's just because you're doing a lot of up and down and a lot of physical activity. But it was worth it. Tampa, Fort DeSoto, Northern Palma City Beach, East Coast, Delray, and Cocoa Beach. Okay, I'm taking a picture of this for reference next time I go to Florida. There we go. Thank you. Definitely will be fun to check those out. There's also a ton more, but I haven't been to any in a while. That's fair. It is cold outside, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah, I'll check those ones out first and then branch out there. That'll take me a while in general because I don't live anywhere near Florida. Freshwater springs are fantastic. Ooh, do they have some good ones there? Utah has some cool ones. There's a place called Lava Hot Springs. I don't know if it's in Utah or if it's just above Utah. Could be in Idaho, but it's like on the border between Utah and Idaho. And it's just a whole bunch of nice hot springs that there's fresh water and hot springs up there, and it's just a really cool area. Idaho, there you go, thank you. I'm like, it's on the border. Not sure. I haven't been in a while, but I did enjoy it when I visited. Rainbow River and Crystal River. More pictures, bucket list things. I gotta say, the most beautiful place I've ever been to, and I've been to Switzerland now, and I've been to Hawaii, but Montana is by far the most beautiful place I've ever been. I have to say, it is absolutely gorgeous. Go to Glacier during the like August time, September time. Glacier is so beautiful, and they have the best. They have like really, really good shakes and pies up there, and then they've got these beautiful waterfalls. You get to walk through, kind of like you get to walk through the scene where everything's kind of like trudged into the water except for the path you're walking, and trees are growing out of like the swampy water, and everything is like a clear blue because it gets so cold there that it creates this really serene, beautiful green look. I know Bear Lake is on the border of Utah, Idaho. Yeah, it is, and that makes sense because I know that the hot springs at Lava are past Bear Lake, and so it makes sense they're in Idaho. But they're kind of close-ish. They're a few hours away. The hot springs near Utah Lake are pretty fun. They're still natural too, no man-made structures near the lake. Ooh, that's kind of fun. I'll have to check those out sometime. I've never been. One of my favorite things about visiting Montana, though, was they have... It's probably something you could get elsewhere, but we were outside and we were just kind of watching the sky, and it was a really cool event because there was like a lightning going on in space at that time, and you could see that lightning from the location that we were at. So there's like green lightning was coming up from space in these like weird flashes. Kind of a odd event to be going on, but while we were out there waiting, we were by this lake, and there were bats flying through the sky while we were watching this green lightning flash through the air. We came to see Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights, but they didn't end up coming out that night, and instead we got that cool event with the green lightning, which, as much as I really, really do want to see the Northern Lights, I'm kind of glad that I did get to see that, because it's not something that happens very often, so it was kind of just like a cool, not often event. So that was fun, but yeah, sometime I'm going to see the Northern Lights too. That's a bucket list thing, but it was so pretty. I absolutely loved it. And just sitting out there watching the bats, watching the lightning. Oh, it was amazing. I mean, saying you saw space lightning's pretty cool bragging rights. Feels very sci-fi. Thought it'd be fun to have this like ghost ectoplasm seeping into the world. Just have it around. I think it adds a little more blue into different locations too, which definitely helps. If you put a color into a picture, you gotta make sure it's incorporated into other places in that photo. You never want to introduce a new color and just have it in one area. For example, if I wanted like a red here, let's say that Xemnas has like a red ring. When did it change from red? There we go. He had like this red ring. I would need to find places to put red elsewhere in the photo, probably a little bit into this coat and such, to make the red work all around. You can mix it in. Like, I would have to definitely mix it to where it's just like an accent into it, like that, in different places. But anytime you add a color, you got to make sure to add it other places, or it will just stick out like a sore thumb. Funny how our eyes catch on to that stuff. Probably because in nature it kind of happens anyways. Your eyes, depending on the lighting, and I think it's mostly because of the lighting, but our eyes will pick up on the light mood. So like the sky, if it's blue in the sky, it'll cast a blue light onto everything underneath. Or if you have yellow lights, then it'll cast that. Or you can even do, if you want something a little more eerie, fog almost gives off a green color. So if you want like a eerie type scene, you can use green as like a green light type thing that makes it feel like it's a little more foggy, mysterious, misty, that kind of stuff. Talk to you later. Welcome back. Thank you. Need to wake up early. Oof. Good luck waking up tomorrow. I do not envy you, but good luck. Thank you for joining the stream. It was good to talk to you. But yeah. The fun thing's what you can do with color, but whenever you're doing a picture, you want to make sure that you keep to a color scheme. And that color scheme does not have to be figured out right as you start off the bat. Disney using green for the majority of their villains? Exactly! It's because it's got that vibe. The other color they use is red. And green and red both have those eerie vibes. Red moons, red Just red's a very warding color, and so you can use that to kind of give a scary vibe. So it's fun what you can do. And if you notice, like whenever you see the villains' designs as well, they'll include more of like the reds and like the eerie type colors into their villains, where they keep the like lighter colors into their heroes, because it's all about that like mood setting. But yeah, green's a very good that's not natural type look you can use. If you notice, purple's used often for like an allure color, like during love scenes and such. Pinks and purples, so you can use that in your scene lighting, because purples usually come in like darker settings because they have darker hues, and like that kind of sets that mood up. Yeah, it plays a lot off of your surroundings and what you have in the area, and kind of the vibes you want in general. You can play against it, but also nature in general just has some of those things by themselves you can use. I'm loving this guy's fluffy hair. I think I just really like fluffy hair, guys. I have to decide very quickly if I want to give a character not fluffy hair, because as soon as they get like the fluff, I go crazy with it. Silas's hair is my favorite because it's just so curly that the fluff takes over sometimes. I'm just like, ooh, another curl and another curl and another curl. I get lost drawing his hair sometimes. I find cross-culture color meanings to be very interesting. Take example, red. Here it can mean warning or blood. Other places it's lucky and used for wedding dresses. Yeah, that is way fun. I do find it interesting. In China, they have wedding dresses that are red for the lucky. That is a fun thing to play with. Oh, it makes me want to look into that more. Like I did know that one, but it'd be fun to see other cultural colors. Do a piece with that sometime. That'd be cool. Just getting that mix in there. There are a lot of different cultural meaning for colors. Red is the most well-known. Very fun topic to research. I wonder why. I feel like red and blue are actually, I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look up. I know there are certain colors that are like the most popular colors. I know blue is number one, but it's interesting that red has more different meanings than blue does, because blue's more like well-known, more liked. But maybe it's because red is controversial, where it's a very prominent color, but at the same time, it's not the most prominent. So it's kind of like a offset of blue. Okay, I'm looking this up. Yeah, red is the second, which kind of makes sense. That's very interesting. It's red, or it's blue, then it's red, then gray, which some people can say is a color and others say not. I technically do say it's a color, and I have reasoning behind this. But then it's purple, white, and yellow. Very, very interesting. I mean, they're fitting most of my favorite colors in there. Black's not there, unfortunately. Black is the best color. But, I mean, I use red, gray, purple, and white in my stream. We're hitting everybody's faves, except for blue. We don't have the blue in there. Well, we gotta be different a little bit. But yeah, my reasonings. People say that black is technically not a color because it's the absence of color, and like white and gray are weird on their colors too. But I disagree with the fact that black's not a color, because it is a way of addressing color. And for that matter, I do say it's a color. It's not in a color in a sense that it has color inside of it, but it is a color in the sense of the name, because it gets used to describe basically colors. Anyways, hot topic, but it's a color. But I guess gray is kind of a color because it has a little bit of white into it. Odd things. People say they're forgetting the argument. They're not actually colors, they're basically values, shades, not colors. Disagree. It's like the tomato, is it a vegetable or is it a fruit topic? I think there's actually a definitive option to that, or answer to that one according to science, but I don't care enough to figure it out. I say it's a fruit though. Good. I think we're having a slight problem with this guard's feet. I think we're gonna spend his legs need a little bit of work. I think the biggest problem I can see with these legs right now is that the armor is hugging his legs too tightly. I'm gonna probably thicken these, and then we'll work on making them feel less liquidy. Yeah, there we go. Oh, much better. Much, much better. This right here is Zemnis's staff. I'm gonna make it to look a little more like a staff instead of just a random weird shape on the ground. What do you guys think of the new chat on screen feature? I've been trying this out. I wonder what you guys think of it. My original thing of the portfolio, I do like it there, but I also am running into the problem that when I post these to YouTube, people get confused because I'm talking chat things and they don't see the chat as long along with it. So I'm trying this out. I think I like the chat where it's at up there, but I don't know. I want your guys' opinions too. Little change to the look of things. You have a YouTube channel set up? Yes, but it's specifically only for past streams. So the other YouTube channel is going to be the very end of February, which I will have 3 videos released on the 28th for that, and then a couple to come. It'll be like every 2 weeks I'll be posting. I'm very excited to get that set up. But yes, I do have, you can access it on the Discord. You can find previous streams up on the Discord, and you can watch them on the YouTube. So this is my new idea to make it a little bit easier for people who are watching previous streams to actually know what's going on inside the video. I also am planning on posting this one tonight. So after the stream, this one will be uploaded on the YouTube channel. I was hoping that I might be able to do it on Twitch. However, again, we're running into the 50 followers thing. One day, guys, we'll get to the 50 follower mark. And we'll be able to post those on here, and then the emotes will be here as well. So that will be fun. But until then, Discord's our friend and YouTube's my friend. So all of the past streams will be posted on YouTube, and you will be able to see them by clicking on the link in the Discord. I don't see where I can find it. There's nothing in the previous Twitch streams channel. Let me look. I'm gonna try reposting it. If you can't see it, I'm gonna... Okay, I resent it. You should be able to see it there. It's previous Twitch streams. If you click on there, it should be inside. And if you click on that, it'll take you straight to the video. Where you can go into Citrus Light Live. That's how you should be able to access it. I can see it now. Okay, interesting. I wonder why it wasn't on there originally. Kind of weird. Cool. But yeah, there's one on there now, and then this one will be posted as well. And from now on, I should be posting them every week onto that channel as well, so you guys can access them if you guys want to watch previous streams. I eventually do want to create little excerpts and such from the streams eventually. That'll go on there as well. But I have to learn how to do that. I haven't gotten to that point yet. My brother was talking to me earlier, and he said that I was an OBS pro. I was like, oh no, I still have a long way to go before I get to pro status with OBS. But I did watch a good video. It taught me a lot about it. There's a like hour-and-a-half video on OBS. If anybody ever needs help with streaming, I will send you that video because it was so helpful to figure out how OBS works. Probably start getting something interesting about Zemnis' design is when I was making him, I came up with this cool idea for his shirt to include like a bone pattern into it. I think I want to start including that in there now. It's part of the fabric, but it's got this like rib cage type look to it. And little bones. Very accurate to anatomy. Quotation marks. May not be accurate, but it definitely is cool. Reminds me of in Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, they have a skeleton suit that glows in the dark. Kind of weird looking, but also super cool. I wear that one all the time because it glows in the dark and it has a skeleton look. I like to pair the top with different bottoms. Like do really baggy bottoms, but then have like that skeletal top. Very cool. Don't worry, they won't be this prominent. We're talking to myself. It's standing out, but it will blend in. Yeah. There we go. Bones in here so I don't forget. Sometimes these last little details are things that I forget most. Piece isn't near finished, but like they're the little detailing things that I don't put in when I first start a design. Because it doesn't make sense to put them in till later. Otherwise they end up just getting in the way of stuff. But I will forget to put them in later. Be like, oh, right. That needs to get in there too. Fun to see the Majora's Mask eyes glow in those caves. Yes, oh my gosh, the Majora's Mask in Tears of the Kingdom is so creepy and I love it. My favorite thing to do is put that one on and just like attract as many enemies that I can and just stand there like, I'm queen of all of the bad guys. Bokoblins bow beneath me. I might have too much of a power love here, but I do love lording over all of the Bokoblins. Well, they think that I'm one of them. That mask, they did a really good job of making it creepy in that game. Along with the original one. It's just a creepy mask and I love it. My brother got me a wood carving of it. It's my favorite thing ever. Because it's just so creepy. But I love it so much. The thing about it is it was made in Africa. It is actually where he ended up getting it. And so it's like originally carved and like he got it custom made out for me. And it feels like a real old mask. It's just got the coolest vibes. Makes me very happy. Okay, Mr. Guard's face needs help again. Keep coming back to it. I think I need more highlights. He'll start feeling like he's more put together. I think those helped fix him. I think I'm dealing with the problem of too smudgy look. It's just funny, I haven't smudged too much on his face, but the too smudgy look can happen even when you're not smudging. If your colors get too muddy, that gives you the too smudgy look. And I think I did too much sampling and not enough actually pushing the contrast. So those little adjustments definitely helped him feel a little better. Did some nice things for his face. Maybe put a little bit of light here. Right up by the top of his face. Yeah, like that better. Add a little highlight in his eye. Probably not with green in it. He's not a villain. Nope, light's coming from this direction. Yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, I'm gonna work on Ghost Girl in the back now. Ghost Girl! That's how that song goes. Sometimes I'll look at a brush I'm about to pick. I'll be like, I think I want another one, and then I'll look at the one I actually have and be like, no, actually, this is the best one for the job. Let's keep what we got. I feel like when you're using an art program with digital painting, you want to make sure that you have brushes you go back to over and over again. Because you can get decision paralysis with brushes, because there are so many different brushes. Like, all of these categories, and each one of them has a different brush you can use inside of it. And they're very fun, but eventually you realize that there's only a few of them you actually need. The others can be useful occasionally. For example, these trees that I have, I've got this really nice sakura brush. It does sakura flowers? Sakura? Probably pronouncing that wrong. But look at these flowers. Aren't they so pretty? And they're really great for trees, not just for the flowers themselves, though they do make beautiful flowers. I've used them before for flowers because this is pretty for a flower. That is a terrible flower color. I need more like this. See, look how pretty they are. But I like to use them in trees as leaves too. If you notice, these are the same things as these leaves. And it has that same vibe. But those are situational. The only ones that I use all the time are this one that I named Test, and I ended up liking the Test, so it ended up becoming a normal brush for me. The square brush and the hard square. And I pretty much solely use those brushes all the time when I'm painting. I occasionally will also use this digital pencil. The thing I like about this one over my test brush it can get really, really tiny, which is good because my my test brush only gets this small. So it gets smaller than my test brush, and so I'll use that one occasionally. And it's more see-through, so sometimes that can be nice, but in general, it's just those 3 brushes all the time. This more blue color. What type of top should I do to this dress? Sleeve decisions. Have her die in a ball gown, maybe? Or we could actually make this. I think I'm gonna do this type of dress on her. Sleeveless up to the top. Elegant type of look. Black tie type. This at one point was a beautiful little black dress. But now it's blue because she's a ghost. Very nervous ghost. Yeah, that Sakura brush that I've been obsessed with recently. Actually, I found it because I was looking for flowers for a set for Nemiria's animatic, because there were flowers in the background. These beautiful intricate flowers here. I did not want to draw them individually, so I found this nice set. It just stamps. Just stamps the flower, and then you can fill it in. I was like, yes, the perfect brush for what I need. It's one of my favorite things in comics. whenever they're doing like a beautiful dress reveal or such. She's pretty. Oh, thank you. I love her. She's one of my favorite roleplay characters I've ever had the pleasure of roleplaying with. She's not mine. She's my friend's, but she is my favorite by far. And so, very fun to draw. I did come up with her look, but not the character herself. But I really love that like pretty look, dress reveal type of flower background look in comics. So I was like, I want to make that effect too. And somebody had a brush that they had that I could use. I learned that from comic class, actually. They taught me a whole bunch of different hacks on how to create comics easier, so you're not drawing for hours and hours and hours on each panel of a comic. That one was super useful, and then there's also a trick you can do where you can get 3D model, you can 3D model a background, and then you can reuse it for your scenes in your comic. So let's say that I had my characters in a city very often. I could get a 3D model or make a 3D model if I'm getting one, pay for that 3D model. And then after that I've made it or use it, you can reposition it in different scenes while the characters are walking through. And you can trace those backgrounds so that you have the backgrounds all set up and all you have to do is draw your characters. It's kind of neat. I love the idea of being able to use 3D modeling and comic creation together. It's just a fun mix. You think it's all 2D, but nope. It's a really good mix where you're able to do both, so. For the most part, I prefer 2D because I'm much faster at it, but I think in the case of backgrounds where you're having to reuse them over and over again, I can see the importance of 3D modeling it out. Because backgrounds, especially where they've got a whole bunch of that's perspective issues. Perspective issues come into hand a lot when you're doing backgrounds, and it takes a long time to create them. Medication is making me tired and dizzy. I have to log off soon. Okay, feel better. So sorry you're not feeling good. Thanks for joining the stream, though. It was fun to have you here. I think everything has its place, and it's awesome you're using them together. Yeah, I think it's a very, very fun thing to be able to mix the two. I have to get a little better at 3D modeling, though. But yeah. Eventually, when I do make a comic, I think I might end up doing something like that, just to have it there. There's also a lot of really nice sites that they allow you to purchase 3D models for games and such, and I think it'd be fun to use that type of stuff for creating backgrounds. So you have they have basic houses and stuff that you can insert in, and then after you have that inserted, you can go through and make it kind of more personable in your own and in 3D. Like, that kind of sounds nice too. I gotta play with it more, but I think I'd like to get into it. Thank you for making me feel welcome, that I don't know anything about D&D and magic cards. Well, I don't know too much about magic cards either, but I'm glad that you feel welcome. I do love to talk about D&D. Fun game. You should play sometime. But thank you for joining. No worries, I have to get better at a lot of things. That's fair. That is entirely... I mean, me too. Sometimes I spend a little too much time drawing, but I can't get away from it. It's too much fun for me. One thing I really want to get better at is learning languages. I have two I really want to learn at least decently well before I die, and that's Korean and German. I'm all right at German, not fluent, but I can understand. I can get around a city in speaking German if needed, and ordering foods and such. But Korean, I know the alphabet, but I don't know how to, I can read stuff, but I can't actually know what I'm reading. So someday I'm hoping that I can get a little bit better at studying those and actually learning the languages better. I think they're such fun languages, and the people I really want to visit Germany. I've heard that the people are amazing, and from Switzerland, they're not the same, but I really love Switzerland, and they spoke German too, and I wished I could speak better to them in German. So I think it would be fun to learn so I could talk with them. And then Korea is just such a cool place, and everyone's so nice there. Just want to get to know that language a little better. We wouldn't want you to get away from drawing. Yeah. I know, that's my issue too, though. I love it, and I actually have to physically pull myself away so I don't just hermit draw all the time. As a kid, I used to think I'd be content just sitting in a room drawing all day for the rest of my life. I quickly realized that was not the case, and I very much love hanging out with my friends. But that's just how obsessed I was with drawing, and the obsession has pretty much carried my whole life, but thankfully I've gotten other hobbies as well as drawing since then. I just made art my job, and that way I can have hobbies. The hardest part is now that I have hobbies, it's art or sleep. Sometimes the sleep is less enticing than the art. Getting to sleep at a decent hour is a struggle. And it's usually because I will be having a hard time working on something. And then as soon as it's time for bed, the art will just start to click in my head and everything will start to look good. And I'll get this brilliant idea of how to make the picture absolutely gorgeous. And I'll spend the next 3 or 4 hours working on it, not realizing, oh, it's 2 or 3 a.m. That's fun. Beard needs help. Face is alright. Beard needs some help. The witching hour is the best time for creativity. Exactly! Every time. Even when I'm writing and not drawing. Best ideas come at night. You have to pull yourself out of bed just to write it down. It's a real shame that's when it happens, but I think it's just because your brain has a little more time to think at night. Don't have any other distractions. Or maybe too many of your own distractions and no other distractions from the outside world. I always tell myself stories to fall asleep at night, so that's also probably a problem of mine for getting to bed. It does help me fall asleep, but if I come up with a good idea, then I'm right back out of bed. Get that idea, and then you're like, where's my phone? You pick up the phone and turn it on, and that bright light just blinds your eyes, and you're like, oh, finally get your idea typed out. And then the tiredness has some reason left you a little bit because someone decided it was a good idea to turn their phone on after they decided to go to bed. Worst is when you have multiple ideas at once and then you're scrambling to write all of them down while not trying to forget any. Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. You're like, wait. There was another one in there. That's when you start having to write down poorly written versions of them and hoping you can go back and make them better later. You're like, that just does not sound exactly how I wanted it to, but we have to keep writing down our ideas or they're gone. Get her ear in here. Ghosts have ears. Spark notes of your thoughts, exactly. That way at least they're somewhat written down. Although that worries me too, because I was never really good at writing notes in school. My notes, the funniest thing is I'd get home and I'd have written my notes. I'd been taking notes all class, but you know, for me, I feel like the teachers always went way too quick and I couldn't get the notes down fast enough. And so I would write down like quick note versions of what I wanted. And I'd get home, it would just be like one word and I'd be like, what does this mean? What were you thinking when you wrote this? So, always have to make sure at least you can understand it before you come back in the morning. Not be like, huh, this was a good idea, but what's going on with it now? There was something here. I love this ghost, like, why are you freaking out type look. What is going on over there? She doesn't want to get involved, but at the same time she's interested. Somebody got arrested while I was at the airport in Orlando coming home. I know it was a random change, but it fits because it's giving me that same vibe where I was watching this woman get arrested by a police officer inside the airport, And I didn't really want to be one of those people looking, but I'd look up from my iPad after drawing for a little bit and just be like, what the heck is going on over there? But it was pretty crazy. Like, oh, okay. Just keep your eyes averted. Very interesting experience. Felt bad because it was on Christmas. We were flying on Christmas. The lady got arrested on Christmas because she wasn't being compliant to the police officer in the airport. Yeah, that was pretty much my face whenever I looked up from my iPad. It's looking pretty good. I'll probably have this one done by next week, so you guys should be able to see the final results. Got about 9-ish minutes left on the stream. But yeah, this one will probably be done next week. Probably gonna start on some fan art, so we can get ready for the next conventions. Don't have any in the works, or I've got a few I've applied to, but I don't have any certain yet. But I'll let you guys know what the next convention is. But should need to start working on work for it. I want to get some One Piece TVs done up, and then a few more pieces of One Piece. Just that one was a big hit. People really liked that at the last convention, which I don't blame them. Luffy is a sweetheart, and I love him. So I might do some more One Piece. I might do Legend of Zelda. I don't know. I'll look into a few ideas. I've got some ideas. Maybe some Critical Role, because I love those characters so much. But it should be fun. I'm really excited for everything we'll be doing this January. Of course, I want to do some more Nymeria and Silas fan art. So that'll probably be something we'll do after. I have this new picture. I've been working on a sketch of Nymeria and like a wolf form of Silas. And I think I might finish this one out. So we might work on that one. We might work on something else, but kind of excited. Hair, a little more. Yep, she's got a very messy butt. I might tame this messy bun a little bit. Maybe pull the hair back a bit, but gotta be a little more tame since she's in a nice little black dress. Background characters could be so fun to add to a piece. You start just coming up with the story for that character as you go. Sometimes they randomly just become more than they were supposed to be because of just being created in the background and go, actually, you know what? I like this character. Maybe they'll have a bigger role. I don't think slightly looking over the shoulder girl's going anywhere though. She's probably just gonna be in this picture. Unless I need another slightly looking over the shoulder ghost in a different picture. Maybe I'll just cameo her in there. Alright guys, I think this is where we're gonna stop. Thank you so much for joining tonight and talking with me. It was so nice to be back and to see you all, or hear you all, read you all. Thank you for joining. I will see you guys next week. Enjoy your weeks. Can't wait to hear about them. Goodbye.